Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Let's Play Starsector. We're on the vanilla save today, and yeah, this episode was prompted by a discussion I was having in someone's stream chat, where they were like, oh, the Executor is okay. And so I sat down for a few hours and made some Executors. This is the enhanced version with 3 S mods. No limited weaponry, no omega weaponry or anything, so this is something you could conceivably build yourself relatively quickly if you were gunning for it by mid-game. And I do also have this one, which does not have the S mods, so if you want to try and replicate this without the S mods, just pause on this frame and use these hull mods. So let's go over here, talk about the build briefly, and then I'm going to go try and do a bounty that I'm not sure I can win, so we'll see how that goes. But anyway, the build. The main thing to note about the Executor is it has something that no other ship in vanilla that is a capital ship has, but what it has is 2 large energy mounts and 2 large missile mounts. That's what it brings to the table for larges that I don't think any other capital ship has. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think my memory of all the ships is correct. So we have 2 large energies and 2 large missiles to work with. No one else gets that. We also have high energy focus, which briefly increases damage of all energy weapons, specifically by 50%. So we get 50% more damage, mainly on our high-intensity lasers. So, high-intensity laser, 500 damage per second becomes 750 damage per second. 0.8 flux damage per second ratio becomes something like 50% of that would be 0.4, which is half, which is not quite how that calculation should work. It's probably something more like 0.6. But anyway, that boosts our beam weaponry really nicely and makes the high-intensity lasers better to run. However, the ship still can have a flux problem when pressured in close range. So, of course, what did I do? Well, I shield shunted it. So now we don't have to worry about it overfluxing itself by holding up its shield because there is no shield. So I think you can only use the shield shunted version of this in specific fleets. You need ships like the Centurion that can get in the way of your enemy. It helps to have something like a little carrier to have fighters to cover you or to harass the enemy. And of course, it helps to have Falcons from the earlier Falcon video that I did. This is still the same Falcon. But having these guys being more mobile than the Executors, they tend to interpose themselves and cover the Executor's flanks really nicely so the Executor doesn't get rushed down. So in the context of this fleet that we're looking at here, which is basically a pure midline fleet at this point, the Executors serve as a long-range fire support platform. That's kind of what we're doing. So, high-intensity lasers. Lots of front point defense, so 2 heavy burst lasers on either side, and then 2 total small burst lasers, and then 5 heavy autocannons. Why not hypervelocity drivers, I can hear some of you asking? Well, because the heavy autocannon has actually a higher damage per second amount. 214 per second, if my memory is correct. The hypervelocity driver has like a 141 or 137 damage per second ratio. The advantage of the hypervelocity driver is the EMP damage and the 200 additional range. But we don't need that because we have Ballistic Rangefinder modded in, which kind of accounts for the range and allows us to have higher total damage, mainly to build up hard flux on enemy shields so that we can get them to drop their shields, so that we can then stab them to death with the high-intensity laser. Simple 1-2 punch. So those are kind of the front-mounted weapons. In the back, just 2 burst PD lasers. Personally piloting, you could probably get away with nothing in the back, but I'm going to probably play this on autopilot and see how it does, because that's what I've been doing in testing. Lastly, the missiles. We do have the 2 large missiles, so we might as well use them. I have locusts in these slots mainly because I was worried about smaller ships flanking and pressuring the Executors. Once I've played this a little more, if I keep messing with it, I might replace these with Squalls for additional shield pressure, or with Hurricane Mervs for additional armor pressure, depending on what kind of enemy I'm facing. But since I didn't know what I was going to find today for bounties, I just left the locusts in. Of course, as with every build I bring you, you can probably come up with a better build. Someone probably already has. I just haven't seen it yet. Please leave your Executor builds down in the comments so that I can look at them and so that everyone else coming through can also look at them and benefit from them. So, S-mods. When I went to S-mod this, I didn't have heavy armor or blast doors installed. You'll note on the cheaper version, those hull mods are absent. This version is the one that I've run the most, the one without S mods, and it seems to work pretty well, at least in simulator. So what I did when S modding was I just prioritized S modding in whatever was in this build that cost the most ordnance points, targeting unit, ox thruster, ballistic rangefinder, and then looking at what I had left over, added on heavy armor and blast doors. So that's kind of where we're at. Not probably the most optimal way to S mod something, but that's kind of the flow chart of like S modding something as I play, because I don't quite know what I'm doing next until I get there. So, very briefly. Oh, another thing I didn't think about with the Executor in particular, it has solar shielding as a built-in already, so it doesn't cost any points or any actual S-mod slots to then S-mod solar shielding and be protected from all solar hazards, which is super nice, actually. I used to S-mod in solar shielding on all of my ships, which took up an S-mod slot in most cases and that kind of thing, but yeah, just a little kind of not even quality of life thing. There's a real benefit here of always having the Executor combat ready, no matter how many asteroids the rest of your ships run into. Ox thrusters for turn rate and additional speed to get in range of an enemy. We are kind of slow at 72 top speed. Ballistic rangefinder, as mentioned before, synergizes with our heavy autocannons, making them have almost as much range as the high-intensity lasers. Energy bolt coherer actually... Oh no, has no effect here. Never mind. Ignore that. Belay that. Basically, when building an Executor, ignore trying to work around Energy Bolt Coherer or to use it to your advantage. It's not a great hull mod to have. It's there as a debuff, as far as I'm aware. Targeting unit, of course, for more range. Resistant flux conduits for additional EMP damage and increased active vent rate, which is important to me when personally piloting. Shield shunt, of course, we need to have shield shunt to make the whole thing work. Automated repair unit, because I don't like having my engines or guns knocked out. Doubly so, we don't have the shield to cover our guns. And lastly, heavy armor and blast doors were kind of added as an afterthought, just to try and increase the ship's survivability. There are probably other options that could be considered, but as just generic things to make the ship more survivable during this kind of testing phase, it's fine. That's where we're at on the Executor. Some of the other ships I've talked about before, the Falcons specifically. I've probably mentioned the Drovers in a previous video, though I've not done a specific Drover video. And the Centurions are literally just the Assault Autofit Centurions because I was feeling lazy and didn't want to burn a bunch of story points to make my my Tactical Laser variant work. So, without further ado, let's go fight the bounty and see how we do. I suppose I could do a sim fight if I really just wanted to, like, impress you guys, but I want to fight against actual opponents here in the wild and see how we do. The main disadvantage of fighting in the simulator is there are no field objectives, which changes how the ships think and makes things a little less random in some ways. So I like to do proper battles. So here we have a high-tech fleet. 2 Paragons Astral, 5 Dooms, 2 Harbingers. So it's really going to depend on what order they deploy things in, kind of how this goes. And whether the Dooms kind of get thrown into the front line and get blasted, or whether they get to play on the flank, we'll see. I've saved before the fight, just so maybe we retry it a few times if I lose, but I don't know. We may just have enough, like, raw, because I have a ton of max level officers. My character's max level. I have a level 5 mercenary officer in here, and I know the Falcons and the Drovers perform pretty well. So let's just go in and see. So you may be wondering why my ships are arranged kind of funny like this. Like I don't have them grouped up with like all the Falcons in a row. This is so when I hit the all key, it deploys in priority from upper left all the way down to the end of the line. If we didn't have enough deployment points available, it wouldn't deploy these last few ships. But by having the most important ships to the fight at the top, a couple Falcons, the Centurions, 1 Executor minimum, and 1 Carrier minimum, I ensure that I can get enough variety onto the field to kind of hopefully cap some points and then get the rest of my fleet going. So just kind of a little thing there. And yes, we do have a Venture in the fleet, not really to do any fighting. He's there for the survey bonus. And there is a backup Doom in case the Executor pops, the one that I'm driving, and we need to, like, recover. So, let's go. Deploy everyone, and I'm just going to put them all on capture orders for now, and the only other real order I've been giving the fleet is to have 1 Centurion apiece escort each of the Executors. So, let's put this thing on autopilot and see how it handles for round 1. We might do a round 2 or a round 3 if this goes poorly. Again, I actually haven't fought high-tech with this fleet comp. I've been using the mercenary pool of ships just because it has a pretty wide variety when doing the simulator fights. So there's a lot left to figure out, which is why this is a Let's Play episode, even though the first, like, 9 or 10 minutes of it may sound like a guide. This is still the experimental phase. So, and on the note of the experimental phase, if you guys have any feedback for the build, in the context of, like, taking it up against basically any, like, faction fleet, or maybe against, like, Remnant, I think to build for Threat or Shrouded, I would want to do something different, and probably have a shield for just the safety. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments, and maybe I adjust them a little more, test them a little more, or making anything and calling it a guide. Oh no, Centurion down. They do occasionally die. This is definitely not a fleet where everything gets to live. Now we're looking on the TAC map itself here. Now my Executor is off chasing a Medusa, which is fine, but let's watch the one that is fighting against the double Paragon that they've deployed. It's kind of good for us that they've deployed all of their capital ships early, because it means they don't have much on the field. We're able to control the control points, limiting the amount of points our opponent can control. And since we started with 240 points, and they have no objectives controlled, they probably only have 160 points to play with. So 2 Paragons plus the Astral probably fills that. They might have like 180 or 200, I don't know. I'm not sure there's a way to see that number, naturally, how many deployment points your opponent has, other than by, like, counting up their ships, and, well, I'm not feeling that sweaty right now. But we are definitely going to break. I'm gonna put my my credits on the center Paragon first. Oh, there you go. He drops his shields, and we tuck in. Let's swap back to my Executor so we can see stats. Yeah, front armor melted, half of his hull melted. But see how nicely they perform? Just continuous shield and high explosive pressure. Of course, we've super ganged up on these capitals, so it's not really a fair fight. Had they deployed their smaller ships first, maybe that would have gone better. But fight's not over. We may yet lose an Executor to, like, the Dooms and stuff. Let's just, I'm gonna put some engage orders down on the capitals. Just want them gone, if possible, before the rest of the enemy fleet arrives. And they have taken one of our comm relays, upper left one, so that gives them a bit more points to play with. And as the capital ships die, they're going to get more deployment points, so that's another factor. Ooh, we've got a Falcon in their back line. Very nice. Shooting into the back of the Astral. Oh yeah, Astral fluxed out. I like the looks of that. Yeah, and there's all the phase ships and stuff streaming in. Okay. Actually, I didn't really look. What is our uptime like? 780 seconds is not bad for peak performance. We shouldn't have any trouble with this fight. If we were fighting, like, 2 fleet bubbles and stuff, then maybe. Then again, I think the Falcons are also 780 across, yep. Which is good. It means everything retreats at the same time. Good job, Executor. But yeah, I don't know. This is going better than I thought it would, just looking at the enemy fleet before the battle. So maybe I should sit down and actually take maybe SMod things a bit more, and then maybe see how we do against actual endgame. Could be a thing. If that's something you'd be interested to see, let me know in the comments, and I'll consider it and or add it to the massive list of various things that I am working on. For Starsector, the modded Syndrian Fuel campaign series kind of takes priority, which is why this video has not really received much in the way of, like, my normal editing style. We're keeping it slow and chill, which is another reason this is going on the Let's Play playlist. Okay, so Centurions are running out of readiness. Honestly, there are no other fleets that were threatening us, so I'm just gonna let the Centurions run out and pop. I'm in endgame. I am carrying 2,000 more crew than I need, 3,000 more supplies than I need. And I think I still have hull restoration in my chosen skills, so if Centurions die, not worried about it. Not worried about it at all. Okay, that Doom, not a problem. Did the Dooms end up not having officers? Oh, that one has an officer. That one doesn't. So like half of their Dooms unofficered, which is unfortunate for them. And even if the Executors are in testing, the Falcons are not. Falcons are good. Look at him go. Oh, he didn't. Oh, he couldn't. His phase coils didn't cool off. He couldn't phase back under, even though he had flux. Poor guy. Okay, but I think that's basically a wrap for this. We're only at the 16-minute mark. I'd like to give you guys a little more than that. Maybe I'll pause the recording after this fight and go seek out like another big bounty to try, just so we have some variety. And again, this is my first fight with this fleet outside the simulator, so yeah. I think the Executor, maybe it is just okay, or maybe it's secretly great. But regardless, it brings something to the fleet that no other ship does. Again, 2 larges, high energy focus. 2 large missiles with no mods affecting them, but that's fine. The only other ship that I can recall that has 2 larges, and then 2 large any kind of gun, and then 2 large missiles, is the Atlas Mark II. It's got 2 large missiles, 2 large ballistics, and of course the Pegasus itself, which the Executor is presumably based on, with its 4 large missiles. But yeah, occupies a niche and unique role in the world of Starsector and in the context of player fleets and the fleets of the world. Okay, do I want to spend story points on my Centurions, though? I don't think I do. I think we'll just recover that Medusa. The Centurions being kind of the least critical. Oh, whole Paragon. I don't need that. Centurions being the least critical thing to the fleet, like a Medusa will do. Let me just put that on. Can it fit the tack laser fit? It can. That only works if I SMod in integrated point defense. So let's just put it on close support. Call it a day. It's probably going to explode. Anyway, okay. I'll pause the recording, and then we will resume with one more battle. Let me go find one. Okay, boys. Best that Ray and Ario can give us is a giant pirate fleet. And since we're kind of like, I don't want to drop another half hour fishing for a fleet, I'm going to grab that. If we get another bounty that's better or more interesting than pirates while I'm flying to location, then I'll take that. But yeah, Syndrian bounty. This big one though looks really good, but it's expiring in 15 days. Oh wait, we could get up there. 9.4 days. Volcanic World, Yellow Primary Star. It's probably that one. Can we make it in time, though? I don't really care if we get paid. I just care that the fleet is there for me to fight, which probably makes it easier. Okay, we got hit by the storm. Oh, okay, yeah, there they are. Okay, I'm gonna save just in case. We're probably fine though. We got hit by that storm, but again, the Executor stands supreme. Praise be to Andrada, because they have both of them. I did it on both of them. The S-modded solar shielding. Good stuff. Okay. So, okay. A pile. Look at all those eagles. 8 eagles. 5 falcons. Lots of sunders. Okay. Well, I mean, it is the vanilla dictat Syndrians. They're not super impressive until we start modding them, but that's okay. It will at least serve as variety. And maybe they won't deploy, or maybe they will deploy more than just throwing all their capitals and cruisers down lane as their first move. We'll see. Oh yeah, incoming vessels. Yeah, they deployed. No, that's my deployment line that I'm looking at on the screen. Okay. So I was about to say, I didn't think we could see that from the enemy. Again, despite all my hours in the game, I still like little basic things fall out because so much of my play is done kind of in like a zen like autopilot mental state. That I just, like, forget things from active memory. What do you mean a high-intensity laser has a range of 1,000? I didn't know that. I should know that, because I've been playing this game for years. As a facetious example. Yeah, oh. Those, oh no, that's right, they're Sindrian Sunders. I was like, why aren't they returning fire? But the Sindrian Sunder has auto pulse, not high intensity laser or tack lance. Oh no. Part of the reason the Sindrians are like bad and easy to beat is just because their ships are equipped poorly. Like if they had copied our Falcons, I don't think we've done a Sunder build yet on the channel. We might need to get on that at some point. But yeah. Just, it's part of, I think, the asymmetric nature of Starsector is that the game is designed in such a way that if you build your ships decently well, because most of the enemy fits are not going to be decent, you will have the advantage. Because it is indeed, in the end, a game designed kind of like how casinos are designed to always take a little more money from you than they let you win. Starsector and most video games, I assume, are designed to let you win a fair bit more than you lose once you kind of understand how to play. And once you get pretty good, better than me, maybe you stop losing entirely. But yeah, although this bounty is bigger than the pirate bounty, I think I must dub it less interesting, although the high-intensity lasers on that Executor, they have scratched our paint quite mightily and chewed through all of our nose armor. So there is that. That Executor is a threat, it just doesn't have enough ships left to keep it alive and properly support it. But it is chewing into our Executor's nose, which is good. But we do the same amount of damage right back at him, I think. And he doesn't have elite combat endurance, and we do, so we're going to regenerate up to half of our total hull this fight, and he is not. Also, he has his shield. He is almost fluxed out. We are flux empty, flux neutral even, and doing great. So, all of those things. But yeah, I was also kind of thinking of like, okay, I have the shield-shunted Executor, I've shown the shield shunt Dominator. Could I, like, with no restrictions on which ships I use, could I like make a grab bag fleet out of and slowly add my shield shunted builds to it? So we would have the shield shunt Executor, the Dominator, and then probably I need to do something smaller like an Enforcer or some kind of frigate. But I don't know, man. What frigate is best to shield shunt? Do you think? Any ideas? I don't feel like it's a good idea in general to shield shunt a frigate. I'm sure someone has done it. Just not an area of the game that I have experience with. Again, almost all of my hours until these more recent videos have been spent this year playing modded or playing high-tech, other than the Luddic Path run and the Valkyrians run, and the ongoing Sindrian Fuel modded run. Okay, Centurions running out of readiness. Their fleet kind of, I assume, boxed in, yeah. Boxed in, just a pile of cruisers, slowly being whittled away. Both of our Executors alive. I also don't think I would run the shield-shunted Executor without an officer in it of some kind. And I didn't really talk about the officers. They're both the level 7 officer in there, and then there's me in the other one, but I think what skills would be good for this are kind of self-evident. Elite combat endurance for hull regen, ballistic mastery for the heavy autocannons, probably not energy weapon mastery. And then I think my preferred thing would be to get elite systems expertise just for more charges of high energy focus, and for the 10% damage reduction, which should synergize nicely with everything else. I can't talk today. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, there they go. They are officially defeated. We're just gonna tap full assault and let no one escape alive, except their fuel ships and such. Alright. Excellent stuff. But yeah, I haven't really put any oh no, another Centurion down. I'm not spending story points on that. We'll just take a Brawler. Take a Brawler. Not too important. Hey, a whole Eagle that we don't need. I am definitely at that point in the game where I can pretty much build whatever I might want. Okay. Throw him on the support fit. But yeah, haven't really thought too much about what skills, but this is what I'm currently running, and I did respec myself to try these specifically on the Executor. So, Elite Gunnery Implants, mainly for the 15% bonus ballistic and energy weapon range. Helmsmanship and Elite Combat Endurance I basically always run. I'm sure I've covered these skills in other videos, but additional mobility and top speed is always good. And additional operating time and the hull regeneration effect are probably my favorite parts of Elite Combat Endurance. Having more max readiness is also good. Oh yeah, I don't have hull restoration. So the D mods may be a problem, but that's okay. Elite targeting analysis, just for more damage to everything. Can't go wrong with more damage. And then Elite Ballistic Mastery, which increases our heavy autocannon range more, yet again, and more damage, and more projectile speed, which feeds back into more accurate shots. And then, of course, as I was saying during the fight, Elite Systems Expertise, mainly for the 10% less damage taken, but also for more charges of high energy focus. I actually want to check something here now that we're at the end. I don't think I actually looked. High intensity laser range goes out to there. How far do the heavy autocannons extend? Almost the same. I think that's like just 100 units less. Yeah, I see the pip there. So it's like 100 units less, which is pretty dang good still. Okay. So with that said, I think that's going to be it for this one. I'm going to lightly edit it, sound balance it, and just put an Executor on a thumbnail and push it out to you guys so that you can have it. And that's the plan. So, if you enjoyed, or rather, I hope you've enjoyed. Oh man, again, can't talk today. I hope you've enjoyed. Thanks so much for watching, and I will catch you all in the next one. If you've been supporting the channel through the Patreon page or through YouTube memberships, thank you so much for your support. If you would like to support the channel and help me out, you can do so for as low as $1 by using the link down in the description or the little join button down by the video title? I don't know exactly. You know where the buttons are. You're not your first rodeo on YouTube. Okay. I'm gonna go, like, drink some water and try and relearn how to talk without stumbling over my words. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Catch you in the next video. Peace.